Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Now, welcoming back to our scandals segment, we have returning contributor Imran Ansari, partner at ABK Law right here in the city. He's also on Court TV and a legal analyst. And today, we are chatting about what happens next for fake heiress Anna Sorokin. Now, her deportation failed at the last minute when she refused to leave the immigration detention center to be taken to the airport on March 14th. And she's still, in fact, in the Goshen, New York Correctional Facility. Now, Anna's lawyers claim motion to stay the deportation was filed, so Anna won't be leaving for Germany until a ruling is made. Now, Anna falsely claimed to be a German heiress named Anna Delvey, so it's a different last name, who had a $60 million inheritance and was raising funds to launch a Manhattan social club. She swindled hundreds of thousands of dollars from friends, banks, and New York City luxury hotels to float her lavish lifestyle. She's now the subject of the Netflix series Inventing Anna, and she has served about 4 years in prison after she was found guilty of attempting and swindling these banks and hotels of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, will the deportation hold? Will she stay? Is she better off to face these charges in Germany? Does the time fit the crime? What kind of additional time is she looking at? Imran, fill us in.
Yeah, Zen. So she did serve a significant sentence for the crimes that she ultimately was convicted for, and upwards of 4 years. And then after she was released from prison last year, February 2021, shortly thereafter, the immigration ICE picked her up, put her in a detention center, and she's facing deportation. So there's been a lot of activity in the last month or so for ICE ramping up, getting ready to send her back to Germany, and her attorneys are filing a motion to stay that. She also joined onto a class action lawsuit, put forth by the ACLU, claiming that she wanted a COVID-19 booster shot and she wasn't afforded one in the immigration detention centers. So she's part of that lawsuit, but she most likely will be deported to Germany sometime soon. They don't necessarily keep deportable non-citizens in immigration custody too long unless their attorneys keep staying the deportation. But because she was convicted of that crime, because she is not a citizen and overstayed her visa, which is why she was picked up by ICE, she is going to be deported at some time. But what an incredible story.
But let me ask you, I'm really confused because she was released on parole more than a year ago, and then 6 weeks later, she was taken into custody for overstaying that visa. But why was she released on parole?
So two different entities, two different systems. In fact, there was one point in our judicial system in the courts where ICE was working with the Department of Corrections, and a defendant could be a defendant in a criminal custody and then be given over to ICE. But that changed. There were reforms which sort of separated the two. And now, you get released after being convicted on a deportable offense, and you're a non-citizen. You can expect that immigration is going to be coming and taking you into custody also for deportation proceedings. So I'm not surprised. What's that?
This is craziness.
It is, but it is routine. But what's craziness is that Anna Sorokin, a.k.a. Anna Delvey, is experiencing tremendous amount of fame right now because of that famous Netflix series. And
yes!
You see these swindlers, these sort of con artists getting famous now. You have the Tindler swindler.
It's craziness.
Netflix, and we have a whole segment we could do on that, Zen.
100%.
Anna Sorokin, and, they're getting tremendous fame, but these people were swindlers. They got convicted of crimes.
Yes, and it's funny because Sorokin's ascent into New York City's wealthy social scene and her crimes were popularized by that profile in The Cut in 2018, right? So The Cut really propelled her into stardom, which then inspired the Netflix series. And then Netflix, we hear, paid her $320,000, and she served as a consultant for the Sonda Rhimes produced show. It's like the height of a crime is now glorified, and now you have become a celebrity, like you said, out of control.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating, and again, the intersection of justice and entertainment here. But we probably will see the next chapter of Anna Sorokin, aka Anna Delvey, and her return to Germany, where we know now there is no fortune or inheritance waiting for her. But what a fascinating story. And you really see, we're going to be following it and seeing how immigration pans out. But I have a feeling sooner rather than later, she's going to be sent back to Germany.
To Germany, yes. I couldn't agree more. And maybe that's where she belongs. She did tell, and New York Times reported, that she's not so brazen and shameless, as she put it, as the show portrayed her to be. And I find it very interesting that she's still living almost a lie. She in her mind, she's done nothing wrong when you hear her speak. But hey, listen, this is New York City intersecting with the law in Hollywood. Like you said, Murphy's Law.
Absolutely, Zen. And it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out and what the next chapter will be for Anna Delvey, also known as her real name, Anna Sorokin.
Anna Sorokin.
Yep. Fascinating stuff.
Fascinating. Well, we're out of time. Imran, thank you so much for piping in. Guys, you definitely have to check out Imran Ansari. He's everywhere. Court TV. He's the legal analyst. He's a partner at ABK Law, #1 trial attorney in the city. Definitely check him out. You're listening to